Oh, power off. Okay, I started it.
Hi, thank you for being here. You have to be, but thank you. I did my presentation on Walt Disney. I'm sure I don't really need to explain that much about him, as everyone knows who he is. An extremely iconic figure in our history. My name is Jenna Sabin, and I'm about to change your life right now. Walter Elias Disney was born in 1901 in Chicago, Illinois, and I have a little quote from him that I wanted to share with you guys because I feel like it kind of just portrays who he was and what his theory was in regards to all the creations and animations in Disneyland. What this country really needs is an amusement park that families can take their children to. They've gotten so honky-tonk with a lot of questionable characters running around, and they're not too safe. They're not well kept, and I want to have a place that's as clean as anything could ever be, and all the people in it are first-class citizens and treated like guests. I don't know about you guys, but I would absolutely love to work for someone like that. So you can only imagine if he cared that much about visitors coming to his park, how he cared about his employees and about his business. The creation of Disneyland I found really interesting and very neat. It kind of portrays it in the movie with Mary Poppins, but I want to share it with you in case you didn't know. So Walt Disney was sitting on a bench one day at an amusement park. He was watching his daughter play on a merry-go-round, and he was noticing that all of the parents were bored out of their mind. They just wanted to go home. They were anxious, and they weren't enjoying themselves. They were just waiting for their kids to be done playing. So as he was sitting there, he was like, man, this place is run down, it's dirty, there's trash everywhere, it's questionable, anyone can just come up here, and there's no entrance or exit, there's no tickets, there's no nothing. So that's kind of where the idea of Disneyland started to take place. He wanted to create something where families can go together and enjoy it. They can go on rides, and the parents were just sitting waiting for the kids to be done playing. So I thought that was really interesting, and I really liked that about him. He was caring and he was very creative, and it had to do with where he grew up. He grew up on a farm, so he really appreciated animals and nature and being outside and just being creative. He lived in Missouri, in Kansas City with his family, and he was one of 5 children. When he was 7 years old, he sold small sketches and drawings to neighbors to make money, so he was very financially orientated at a young age and very artistic, as he studied drawing and photography in school, and then he eventually picked up acting and performing. So he was kind of like a triple threat, I guess you could say. The start of an empire. He began creating a one-reel, which was 10 minutes long, a short subject titled Alice's Wonderland. I'm sure we've all heard of that. That is where the creation of Alice in Wonderland came about. But unfortunately, he ran out of money. So his company that he pursued in commercial art went bankrupt. It was called Laugh-O-Grants. So refusing to give up, he was determined and enthusiastic, and he was only 21 years old when he moved to Hollywood with his unfinished print of Alice in Wonderland, and $20 in his pocket and a suitcase. Him and his older brother, Roy, set up shop in their uncle's garage with $750, which I calculated is equivalent to about $10,550 today. So they had a good chunk of change that they borrowed, and they got to work. And 6 years later, he created his first iconic character, which I'm sure you can imagine was Mickey Mouse. And then the gates of Disneyland opened, and it was in 1955, and it was a $17 million Magic Kingdom that was born, and it's estimated to entertain over 15 million people every year. So let's talk about Disney, Walt Elias Disney, as a leader. He really wanted to make a difference, so he wasn't just self-absorbed and wanted to make these movies and amusement parks just for himself. He wanted to bring joy and happiness to others, and he wanted to improve the quality of life in America. He established Cal Arts, which is kind of like a polytech, an art school in California for college students who wanted to pursue acting and drawing and photography and animation to follow in his footsteps. So he was thinking about future generations. Everything evolved around helping future generations. And I found that to be really neat because he was always thinking about the past and the present. He was never stuck just in a current mindset of, I got to do as much as I can to make as much money as I can. He was always thinking ahead and worried about others. His optimism came from his unique ability to see the entire picture, and he cared deeply about his employees and improving the future, as I said. And he brought joy and happiness and a universal means of communication to people from all walks of life, different cultures and religions. You can imagine if anyone's ever been to Disneyland. I mean, there's 5 of them. No one is the same race or ethnicity there. It's an eclectic melting pot of people that are all there for one reason, just to have fun. So his philosophy, he expected everyone to be true to Disney. That was his number 1. Dress for success was his number 2 idea for his work environment. Complete all work by deadlines, regardless if it's Christmas Eve. There's a deadline that needs to be met. Opening day of the park, he didn't like the way the streets were painted. He made all the painters repaint it that night before opening day. Loyal to his employees, he never had favorites, and if he did, he didn't show it. And he provided incentives to his employees to want to work for him. Everyone goes by their first name. So this is actually on a true account, a story. You'll see on the next slide, I actually interviewed Mr. Don Lusk, who was an animator for Disney, so he knew him personally. So this information is coming directly from one of his employees, which I find extremely credible. He said the first memory he has of Disney when he walked in there to meet him, he said, "Do not call me Mr. Disney. One thing we all do here is go by our first name. Call me Walt." I thought that was very cool. He also did not allow any facial hair. Everyone needed to look the same. And he wanted a neat appearance at Disney. Nice and successful was what he was going for. And he never wanted to fire people. That was another thing. If you weren't doing your job in one department, he would try and find another department that he could move you to. So he was really big on keeping the tight-knit family type of community going on, and he didn't want to fire anyone. He would find a new place for you to fit in, which I found that really, really neat because I don't know any bosses who do that. And this picture right here, I've actually visited before, not knowing that it was, it's a castle in Germany, not knowing that that was the idea behind, can you guys guess which castle at Disneyland?
I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, I wonder what's
Okay.
I've never
Beauty.
been. Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping
Okay.
Beauty Castle
It looks like something I've seen
was
before.
designed after this castle that was built in Germany. And it's absolutely beautiful. Like it's literally falling off the side of the cliff. So here's Mr. Don Lusk. I think he's 101 now. He just celebrated a birthday, and he's one of the only
Wow.
animators that is still alive. So it's a big deal. And Walt was just an average guy. He just kept saying that over and over again. There was nothing really special or I don't know, kind of egotistical about Walt. He was very down to earth, very average, wore the same thing every single day, and he had a reputation for having the best of the best animators. If you left and went somewhere else and told them you worked for Walt, you got a job instantly. Like that was the best thing you could have on your resume. He really, really wanted to make his employees feel as if they were important, and I think that has a lot to do with why he was such a successful leader. It's because his employees wanted to work for him. They wanted to be there. He treated them very well. He paid them well. They started, well, in 1933, Mr. Lusk told me that he was making $15 an hour, which came out to $272 today. So he was, you know, back in the 1930s, Great Depression, that's good money. So that's incentive alone. They received raises and Christmas bonuses, and every 3 months they got a $45 raise, and you kept working up until your ability, and then it kind of just capped out. They got free admission to the park for their family once a year. I thought that was kind of a bummer, maybe every day. And then he really remembers the strike and the Disney 9. So that happened in the 1940s. He said it was a horrible time, that it changed everything. Disney was never the same once the union came in and the strike. It was kind of like Apple with Steve Jobs, how the taxpayers kind of came in and just took over, and then Steve was out of a job. Like, everything he created was kind of gone. And only 9 animators stayed behind, and Mr. Luss was the 10th. So you can imagine kind of how that felt for him. But he continued drawing and whatnot. So the legacy that Mr. Walt leaves behind, Forbes ranked him the 13th world's most powerful brands. His net worth and market capitalization of Disney Company has been estimated at $103.96 billion in 2013, and annually their sales come in at about $42.84 billion. And they employ, just in the United States alone, nearly 133,000 people, just in the United States, not counting the Disneyland in Hong Kong, in Paris, and I believe it's China. Okay, California, Florida, Paris, Tokyo, and Hong Kong. Those are the 5 Disneyland locations. And during his 43-year-long career, all of his hopes, dreams, and ambitions had come true. And unfortunately, he passed away at 65 years old. And they also have 4 cruise ship lines, and he created a multi-billion-dollar company. And I think that's safe to say he's contributed a lot. And I know I've had a lot of fun going to Disneyland. I used to have a season pass.
You didn't live far from there, huh?
No, yeah, I grew up 40 minutes from Disneyland.
Wow.
It's
I've never been. Have you been, Jason?
Just the once.
Did you go with Amelia, or did you go with your family? Jordan has?
No.
Me neither.
oh, wow.
We all need to go to Disneyland.
Yeah, it
Really,
is
it's like
so much fun. I tried to put this picture in here just so you can kind of get an idea. It's a little pixelated, but that is the entrance to Disneyland. And Walt traveled around the world to get different ideas because he wanted 5 or so separate theme parks within one park. So this is Main Street, and it's kind of old school, like dates back to the 1920s. So if you go to the park, you'll see that it's separated by like Back to the Future type things, and it's there's so much thought and time that went into the construction of Disneyland. And there's all these hidden mouse ears that you guys can see in these corners all over the park. So the detail is extreme. So let's say like within this pillar or something, he'll have like 10 hidden Mickey Mouse ears. On the ground, the design of the carpet or the floor or the tile is all Mickey Mouse ears. It's extremely intricate. So that just kind of shows his perfectionism and how much he put into and invested in his company. And it's thriving, and like I said,
I like the flags. I like the American flag. I
$1 billion
think that's cool.
billion-dollar franchise. And it is so crowded there. So crowded. Even if you go during school, it is so packed. It's like elbow to elbow.
What were you going to say, Jordan?
I don't remember.
Don't remember.
Sorry.
So
Wait,
that's it.
did you say you spoke to Don once?
Yes. My mom takes care of him. My mom works at a luxury retirement community, and he's one of her, I guess, clients, employees.